Chat, you already know what time it is. Your girl did another Sephora haul. So if you guys are interested in seeing what products I utilized to achieve this flawless complexion today, stick around. Okay, so let's be real. As a makeup artist, sometimes skin prep matters to me more than the foundation itself. So I want to start out by testing the Instant Glow Serum by Merit. This is brand new. I saw this at the end cap over at Sephora, and I just knew I had to pick this up. A+ on packaging. If you guys know, you know that I'm a sucker for good packaging. But I am really curious to try out whether or not this Instant Glow Serum is going to live up to the hype. I mean, I think that there's a really fine line between being really glowy and radiant and just looking oily like you need an oil blotting sheet. So we'll find out, I guess. One of the first things that I read with this product is that you're supposed to shake it to just kind of marry the ingredients together. So I'm just going to go ahead and do that because it does look like there's a little bit of separation. You're supposed to put about 2 to 3 pumps on clean, hydrated skin, which I currently have at the moment. I'm dying for hydration right now. So this is a bi-phase serum, which tells me it's going to balance oils with hydration so that it's not just an oil that's sitting heavy on top of your skin. Okay, so immediately this feels really thin, and it's so thin that actually when I was spritzing it onto my hand, I had some fall onto my clothes. So, I mean, do with that what you will. It's not heavy feeling at all. It doesn't feel very silicone-y or very tacky like some serums might have that feeling. And it has more slip than grip, which I actually prefer when it comes to natural skin finish. So I'm just going to continue pushing this in, and then I'm just going to drag it right down my neck here. And just make sure that I'm really getting in with this product. Okay, so this is the finished product. My face feels very glowy and very hydrated right now. The test, truthfully, is going to be how this sets and how makeup sits on top of it. So let's keep going. I'm going to be so honest when I say this, and cancel me if it happens, but I prefer a priming moisturizer to a primer any day. And before you jump on my case, let me explain why. So truthfully, I feel that priming moisturizers really do the trick as far as really getting into my skin instead of just sitting on top of it like your typical primer does. I've also noticed with primers in the past, I've had separation right along this crease area here in the nostril area. I've also noticed that I separate a lot on the nose, not just on myself, but also on my makeup clients, and that's just something that I cannot have. When I saw that Merit was right next to the Instant Glow Serum and they had their own moisturizing primer, I was super stoked. So one of the things that I will tell you about this is that it is not only priming moisturizer, but it does have peptides and hyaluronic acid in it. Not only is the bottle beautiful and she just looks absolutely luxurious, but again, as a makeup artist, I don't always care about something looking luxurious. I care about how the skin looks after we apply it. A lot of moisturizers sometimes tend to just make the skin really slippery and don't really adhere to the foundation really well on top of the skin. So I am curious to see whether or not this is going to aid my foundation going on top of it, or whether or not it's going to make my makeup kind of slide off. So immediately, this feels so lightweight for a moisturizer, but I like that. It's not too heavy. Again, there's no scent to it. And it is mixing beautifully with the oil that I just used. So I am noticing it absorbs pretty quickly, which is important to me because especially when I'm doing makeup on other people and I'm on the go, I want products that seep into the skin pretty quickly and just give it a really nice finish. Truthfully, I can really see this being a go-to in my bridal kit for brides. This is gorgeous. Okay, so the next product I'm actually going to try on, I am super excited about. It's the new Dior Forever Glow Foundation. And I have super high expectations for this. I have seen this all over my TikTok. It just looks so good on the skin. However, me being a person who has combo skin and has like an oily T-zone, I am a little bit apprehensive of how this might sit on my skin. Foundation is either sitting on the skin or becoming the skin. So we're going to see what category this falls into. I'm going to start out with 2 pumps just to see how much coverage I can get with that. And she is scented. So if you have a sensitivity to fragrance, I would not recommend this at all. I actually don't mind it. You guys. Okay, come through shade match. First thoughts are that this is just going onto the skin seamlessly. I'm going to do one side of the face so that way we can compare. So I went ahead and did one side of my face. I tend to carry a lot of redness here in the center of my face, and you can see that this totally covered it up. I wouldn't say that this is like a full coverage foundation off bat like others, but I will say that it is buildable and it looks absolutely gorgeous on the skin. One of the things that I'm really loving about this so far is just how easy this is to put on in terms of just being able to build the coverage that you want. So let's say, for example, on like a no makeup day, you could be way more lightweight with your application. If you prefer to be full coverage, then obviously that would require a little bit more than 2 pumps. But so far, we are sitting really pretty on the skin. One of the key things that I'm noticing is that this works gorgeous with a brush or with a sponge, whatever your preference is. Because this is a radiant finish, it does have a luminosity to the skin, as you can see. I'm really liking this. I am curious to see how this is gonna wear underneath the powders once I start to set everything into place. So overall, this formula feels just really intelligent and intentional. I am absolutely loving the radiance of my skin. I hate doing makeup on camera sometimes because I just feel that it doesn't do the makeup justice compared to what I'm seeing in person. But if you are in the market for a new foundation and you tend to carry more normal to combo skin, I would definitely say give this a try. It is absolutely beautiful as far as finish. I can't wait to see how the rest of my makeup pans out on this. Next up, I have the Merit Concealer Complexion Stick. I did get this a few shades deeper than I normally would, and the reason being is because I had full-on intention of utilizing this as a contour stick. The reason sometimes I prefer a complexion stick for a contour, like a concealer, as opposed to a traditional contour liquid is because I find that it blends out a little bit more believable as opposed to just like a liquid. I did just recently get a contour liquid, and I'm not going to name the brand because I don't want to be a hater, but I do feel like the finish was a little bit muddy when I did see myself like in natural daylight, and that's an absolute no for me as a makeup artist. So I have high hopes for this. First thing off bat, come through packaging. How freaking cute is that? Oh my God, I love this. This just looks so luxurious. So for me personally with contouring, I usually like to concentrate right up here. And I like to stay on top of my cheekbone. I don't really like to carry it under too much. I have seen in the past where some people will really drag it out down here, and I feel like you're really just not staying true to the finish as far as trying to make it look intentional with your placement. So I'm gonna go ahead and place this right here in my temple. When it comes down to contour, I'm always like, it's like a little tiny Pac-Man. So that's really what we're trying to do here. So that way when I'm starting to blend it out, it's just gonna kind of elevate the look. And then I like to apply a little bit right along the hairline here. My first impression of this is that it has so much movement. This is just so easy. Now, a makeup artist tip when it comes down to contouring. Not every nose contour is designed to be the same for every single face. We all have different unique shapes to our profiles. For me personally, one of my biggest insecurity has always been this little bump that I have here of unevenness in my nose. And it was way more pronounced when I was younger, but when I did get a little bit older, I did get non-surgical rhinoplasty. So it's basically where they just inject your nose and they put filler right at the top here and right at the tip of my nose. While it did an amazing job camouflaging my bump, I can still personally see it. That's just my anatomy. That's the way I was made. This is not gonna go away unless I get plastic surgery, or unless you know the correct techniques. So a lot of people who have bumps will tend to do like a traditional contour where they will bring this all the way down. My issue with my contour is not the width of my nose. It is absolutely just this little bump here. So I'm just gonna very lightly carry it through here. I'm not pulling it all the way through. And then I'm gonna round out the bottom and just do a little bit here. If I really wanted to, I could carry this contour and truthfully pull it down here to really accentuate my jawline and my chin. I just don't like to. I really don't like to have any discoloration between my actual face and my neck. I like everything to look very cohesive. Even with the best blending techniques, I still find sometimes you can see that level of separation. I don't like that. Again, just my own opinion, but that's one of the reasons I don't like to carry my contour that deep. So with a domed brush here, I'm just gonna go ahead and start blending this into the skin. Do you see how much movement this product has? Oh my God, I need to buy this like in 3 more shades for my kit. This is so pretty. I've never had a contour that blended out that seamlessly. Holy F-bomb. And it's insane because this isn't even supposed to be a contour. This is just a product that truthfully is a complexion stick, but I'm going to stay true to my word. Sometimes complexion sticks make the best for contouring because of how fluid they are and just how much movement they have. Not only that, but if I can get a little bit of extra coverage in areas that I feel self-conscious about, like the texture in my cheeks, I'm all for it. I'm just going to carry some of this contour right underneath my brow bone and continue to pull it upwards. Now for my nose contour, I'm going to go in with a smaller domed brush. So this is the Morphe M330. I don't know if they still make this particular brush, but if not, any typical dome brush will do. So I'm just going to carry this up towards the tip of my brow, and then going back to contouring when you have a bump on your nose, I'm slowly and intentionally dragging my brush towards the center. So I'm still keeping this movement here. I'm still keeping the shape because this is where I really want a lot of depth to be in my face, but I'm gradually just carrying her inside. I'm gonna do the same thing to the other side. And again, I'm pulling her through to the center where the bump in my nose exists. And then I'm just pulling her upward. When it comes time to apply concealer to really help give that contrast, I'm gonna apply it right here in the center, a little bit here at the top of my bridge, and then the rest is gonna go right here in the center of my brows. So what I'm really trying to do is I'm trying to attract a lot of attention to the highlights in my face so that it distracts from the bump that I have here. A lot of the times I find it funny because people will be like, I can't even see your bump. And I'm like, duh, I know. That's the point. Utilizing a complexion stick was an absolute yes in my book because it helps keep everything visually cohesive. So while this isn't a product that was originally branded for contouring, this is going to be a major yes for me. One of the next products that I have that I'm actually going to be talking about and reviewing is the Natasha Denona High Glam Concealer. Now, I actually already have it and I've been utilizing it for like the last week and a half. I utilize this in shade N2. I find that this is really easy to wear on top of makeup or wear it by itself as well on days that I'm not really feeling makeup, but the formula itself is absolutely beautiful and creaseless. I did pick up the brightest shade that they had, which is shade RN1, and I did that intentionally because I really want to create a lot of brightness underneath my eye area. I absolutely love a bright under eye, so I really want to see how this is going to sit. So I'm being very strategic with my placement here. I'm going to apply a little bit on the back of my hand because I don't want to overdo it with product, but I'm just going to bring some in the center. I usually like to do like a little upside down arrow. And then as I mentioned earlier, I do want to pull a little bit here in the center of my nose and then right here at the tip. So these are pretty much my main highlight points. The brush that I'm going to be utilizing to blend everything out is the Morphe. It's the concealer brush M132. I love this brush for concealer. So she's also very domed, but the bristles are so compacted and soft that I just find that it blends everything so easily and it fits into these little crevices. One thing that I also really love about the Natasha Denona concealer is that the pigment distribution is even all around. And truthfully, it's wherever you want it to sit. You can really easily manipulate this concealer and it just blends seamlessly into the skin. And even with the placement on my forehead, you guys can see I keep my movements very intentional and I try not to lose shape. Now, obviously, you can totally see that I have lines. So that's when you go in with your beauty blender and you really just start to blend everything out. Obviously, for achieving brightness, I chose the right color. One of the other things that I really love about this formula is that it's very creamy, but it dries and sets beautifully on the skin. I went ahead and blended everything in. I'm gonna go ahead and set everything now. Next up, I have a product that I'm really excited to try out. It is the new Dior Backstage Air Flash Setting Spray. I have such high hopes for this. Some setting sprays are either going to set your makeup or they're going to resurrect it. And right now, after powdering my face, I am feeling a little bit flat. So I'm hoping that this just kind of helps everything marry together. Okay, so first thoughts, this also has a lot of fragrance in it. But fragrance doesn't bother me. The nozzle has really even disbursement onto the skin. So I didn't really feel like there were heavy droplets that were hitting my face at any point. Everything just felt very evenly distributed as far as a mist. I'm gonna just take a fan here and I'm just gonna start to let this dry a little bit quicker so I can finish the rest of my makeup. But already you can see as far as my complexion goes, this melted everything together so beautifully. In person, this looks even better. Like, I can't stop staring at my skin. A good setting spray should always make your makeup products look more integrated into the skin, not just wet, and I will absolutely say that that was achieved. Setting spray. This is more like rich lady mist. Okay, so here's the final product of all of the products that we tried on today. I am absolutely loving the results. Everything just looks so beautiful and just cohesive and just works together so gorgeously. I am so satisfied with my latest Sephora haul. Let me know if you guys have any questions or thoughts, comments down below. I would love for you guys to absolutely take a minute of your day to just subscribe if you have an opportunity to, and thank you as always for joining me. Till next time.